Donald Trump took a trip on over to Univision. He did a Fox News town hall as well. And it went so poorly for him that he's been canceling his upcoming interviews and upcoming events, particularly with CNBC, the most recent, after he got absolutely clapped by Kamala Harris at the debate. He refused to do a second debate because, it's like when a prize fighter loses a fight, they want to do a rematch immediately. But obviously, no one's falling for that. He didn't do a 60 Minutes interview, and he is not going to do a second interview, as I think I just said. But basically, he's doing this because the more people see of him, the more they dislike him. Early voting is absolutely breaking records. Democrats are spanking that ass when it comes to turnout. There's going to be a single digit percentage of Republicans who vote for Kamala Harris. And it's looking like overall America, the majority of voters at least, are ready to move on from the clown show. And it makes a lot of sense, despite the fact that the media is desperate to pretend like, everything's so neck and neck and we don't know. I've seen articles talking about the early voting numbers. Well, this doesn't really tell us much. Of course it tells us. It tells us everything. Obviously, we still got to get to November 5th, but it tells us a lot. It shows enthusiasm and it shows what's going to happen when it comes to November 5th. Democrats are overperforming by 300% in the poll. They're overperforming by 300% compared to Republicans in early voting. Yes, that matters. So anybody who's still talking about these BS polls, honestly, they're just clickbaiting and fear baiting and anxiety baiting people. But let's check out what my man's Donald Trump did while he was at the Univision town hall. Here, a voter is basically giving him a chance to win his vote back. And it's safe to say that he didn't do it.
I am a Republican, no longer registered though. I want to give you the opportunity to try to win back my vote. Okay. Your, let me say, action and maybe inaction during your presidency and the last few years, sort of, was a little disturbing to me. What happened during January 6th, and the fact that you waited so long to take action while your supporters were attacking the Capitol. Coronavirus, I thought the public was misled during coronavirus, and that many more lives could have been saved if we would have been informed.
Okay, I have to point out how unbelievably terrible Donald Trump's makeup is. He's such a clown. He literally wears clown makeup. This you can see, and it's not like I'm the only person who's pointed this out, but you can see his real skin tone behind the orange paint. You can see it in his eyes. It's not lined up perfectly with his hairline. Like this dude is just an unbelievable clown to the point that he has on cake makeup. It's so pathetic.
Better. And also people in your administration who don't support you. I'm curious how people so close to you and your administration no longer want to support you. So why would I want to support you? If you would answer these questions for me, I would really appreciate it and give you.
Good, solid question. Say, I don't like the way that you handled your loss to Joe Biden. The January 6th was disturbing, your hand in that. And it's looking like pretty much everybody who's connected to you, who gets close to you, ends up disliking you, ends up saying that you're no good, ends up telling people that they shouldn't vote for you. How do you make sense of this? Let's see what he has to say.
With the opportunity. There's, your own vice president doesn't want to support you now.
Thank you, Amiro.
So the people that don't support a very small portion, we have a tremendous, about 97% of the people in the administration support me. But because it's me, somebody doesn't support, they get a little publicity.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that things aren't very fair. What you just told me is not true. It's not true that a lot of people don't like Donald Trump. Everybody loves Donald Trump. So you just been bamboozled by the media.
And already he's looking at him like, oh, he's bullshitting me. He's not gonna give me a real answer. He's just gonna give me shtick. And you can tell, you can see it in his face. And he already went viral because he gonna do a whole lot of head flopping because it's just like, really, man? But it's already begun. First and foremost,
Well, first of all, I'd like to point out that I'm a victim and life is not fair for me in particular.
The vice president, I disagree with him on what he did.
again, what did he do?
I disagree with the vice president on what he did.
He didn't cheat for you. He didn't help you overthrow the government. That's why you dislike him. And again, he's saying this out loud, and that's why he's looking at him like this, because it's like, what, you mad because Mike Pence didn't commit treason against the United States? Oh, okay.
Totally disagreed with him on what he did. Very importantly, you had hundreds of thousands of people come to Washington. They didn't come because of me. They came because of the election. They thought the election was a rigged election.
Yeah, I had nothing to do with that. They did. I had nothing to do with it. They came because they thought the election was rigged.
Yeah, because you and the whole Republican apparatus, instead of just taking the L because you suck, and Republicans suck in general, but let's be more specific here. Instead of just taking the L of the fact that you lost to Joe Biden fair and square, yeah, that's why your insane cult base was at the Capitol, stormed the Capitol. Think about how deep in the game, how lost in the sauce you got to be to do something like that. That's insane. That's insane. Like, if people would have done that 60 to 100 years ago, they would have been put to death for it. Like, this is death penalty type of stuff in less developed nations, or in earlier times where we weren't as far ahead socially as we are now. I mean, horrible response.
And that's why they came. Some of those people went down to the Capitol. I said peacefully and patriotically, nothing done wrong at all. Nothing done wrong. And
Nothing
action
done
was
wrong.
taken, strong action. Ashley Babbitt was killed. Nobody was killed. There were no guns.
Look at the face. He said,
Ashley Babbitt was killed. Actually, no, she wasn't killed. No, nobody was killed. Actually,
and there's her face. They looking like, huh? Because again, bro, this is, I'm telling you. I mean, again, early voting has already honestly spelled Trump's doom, among other things. But Donald Trump is not going to get rewarded for doing everything wrong. I mean, this man, he's spending his last final days of the campaign campaigning in New York, California, states he has no chance of winning. We're an electoral system. It doesn't matter if you get a few million extra votes in those states. It really doesn't. And a lot of those people aren't registered to vote anyway. So he's just wasting time going to areas where he has no chance of winning, and then just turning off everybody. And the idea that that's not going to have consequences when it actually comes down to real votes is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
All nothing done wrong. And action was taken, strong action. Ashley Babbitt was killed. Nobody was killed. There were no guns down there. We didn't have guns. The others had guns, but we didn't have guns. And
Not true. Not true.
when I say we, these are people that walked down. This was a tiny percentage of the overall, which nobody sees and nobody shows. But that was a day of love from the standpoint of the millions. It's like hundreds of
A day. And look at him.
a day of love.
And again, if you think that this and his horrible no ground game, no, minuscule effort to get out the vote, bro, it's always been so obvious that he wasn't going to win this election. It really has. But the media, they have to keep people's fears and anxieties high so that you stay tuned into them. I mean, obviously we live in a hyper partisan society, but still, like, come on, man. Like, this dude has been propped up so much just so the media can get views.
and nobody shows. But that was a day of love from the standpoint of the millions. It was like hundreds
day of love.
thousands. It could have been the largest group I've ever spoken before. They asked me to speak. I went and I spoke, and I used the term peacefully and patriotically. If you look at the Democrats, what they say, you look at Maxine Waters and you look at Hillary Clinton and you look at what they say, and they don't put that on. They only put Republicans on. But they couldn't get me because of the fact that I said everything's got to be peaceful and patriotic. And we'll see how it all works out. But I think that we're right now in another election. All I want is honest elections. I'm willing to take.
All I want is honest elections. If I win, then everything's okay. If I lose, then it was rigged and it wasn't fair.
Yeah, of course, he didn't answer his question whatsoever. He played the victim because that's all Donald Trump can do. That's all Donald Trump has. That's all MAGA has. Nothing's fair unless they win. And again, like I said, if you think that Donald Trump doing everything wrong isn't going to result in him losing the election, maybe you should go outside and touch some grass. Hey now, thank you so much for tuning in here at Politics and Paper. If you like what I do and you support my work, go ahead and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it and really helps to support what we do here.